Hello and welcome to the Flying Reporter, coming from Goodwood Airfield in West Sussex, where history is being made. It's the Schneider Trophy air race weekend, and I think for the first time ever, this aircraft here, the Pipistrel Velis Electro, is going to be taking part. The Velis Electro was the first certified electric aeroplane in the world, and enthusiastic air racer Cliff Hawkins has decided to try and fly one for this weekend's Royal Aero Club race meet. And last time I saw you, what was it you were flying?
I was flying the de Havilland Leopard Moth in 1934. Yeah, I've gone completely the opposite end of the spectrum, so exchanging pistons for the electric engine on the Velis. It just seemed a nice thing to do this weekend. It's not far from our home airfield at Popham. So yeah, here we are trying to make some history.
This weekend's race format is a time trial, and there are 11 aircraft competing. And because it's a handicapped race, it doesn't matter that the Velis is the slowest entrant. Some clever maths and computers help the race organisers work out the winner. The competitors all set off one at a time and race around the 29-mile course off the coast of Bracklesham Bay. Some will fly at full throttle, others like Cliff and his navigator Roger here will fly at a set power. Even at his reduced power, it's quite likely that the Velis won't have enough endurance to do the specified 2 laps of the race, but they're going to give it a go.
We do have an ultimate range, 53 minutes. We really need about 42 here, and because it's an operational airfield, we just need a little contingency at the end to come back, go around, anything like that.
Roll out, now.
Coming up, you'll see me compete in the race as a navigator for Jonathan Willis in his RV6. But it's time for the first ever electric competitor in the Schneider Trophy to take to the sky.
Race 50 at hold 32, ready for departure.
This video is made possible thanks to the support of Vertigo covers. Vertigo is a British company making modern, affordable, lightweight covers for your aeroplane. I have a Vertigo cover for India Victor. Order yours today at vertigocovers.co.uk.
Race 50, runway 32, take off at your discretion, the wind 24010.
Race 50, lining up 32.
The takeoff and climb is going to use a lot of the Electro's juice, so Cliff plans to stop his climb at 800 feet, which is the altitude he plans to fly the course at. He'll then reduce his power to 20 kilowatts, which is the power setting for maximum economy and endurance.
Don't feel like you're climbing here when you're going over the hill, do you?
But when he gets to the start line, he'll have to increase his power to 25 kilowatts to meet the race's minimum airspeed rules.
The Spitfire's up there.
A direct track to the start line is what Cliff needs, but the Spitfire is in the circuit and Cliff is going to have to wait a little bit before turning on track.
Oh, there's a glider up there as well. That's not what we want.
So getting to the race course has not gone exactly to plan. Cliff has had to use up some precious battery power avoiding traffic. He eventually turns on track and settles into his cruise.
Right, it's got 20 kilowatts set. This is a very, very sedate race, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
We need a hamper or something just so we can have a little sandwich while we're going around, or bananas. Some strawberries. Yeah, actually.
A temporary restricted area has been established for the race, and to enter that area, Cliff needs to get in two-way communication with the clerk of the course, who's at the start line down on the beach and using a dedicated radio frequency.
Clerk of the course from race 50 on frequency, just coming up to the beach.
Race 50, readability 5. You are welcome to start the race whenever you want, race 50.
The aim of the race is to fly as accurately as possible between the dedicated turning points and not cutting in on that turn. The first point is a green wooden maritime beacon just off Hayling Island. Quite difficult to see anyway, but particularly tricky for Cliff and his navigator Roger.
The trouble is we're going so slow, we're having the nose up so much.
Yes, reducing visibility.
And we can't see clearly ahead. That's an interesting thing, just trying to balance the range.
Yeah.
The time.
And so Team Pipistrel pass the start line. They hoped they may be able to make 2 laps as everyone else, but range anxiety is already setting in.
So we're down to 75%. We've been going about, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're down to 33 minutes of flight time left.
They're going to try and see if they can finish the 2 laps of the course, but it's not looking great. They need to land with a reserve of at least 10 minutes to remain legal. And the Goodwood circuit open to lots of other traffic. There are too many variables really to leave things close to the mark. The leg to turning point 2 is the longest in the race, and the turning point is a small red buoy out to sea with no landmarks to visually line up with, and so it's a case of setting a heading, cross-checking the GPS and keeping the eyes peeled.
But this is one you definitely can't do just visually, is it? There's nothing to see.
No, correct.
That's quite interesting. For about the last 5 minutes we've been on 35 minutes to go. But clearly we are on a nice economical cruise here. I've got it. I've got the green one.
Yeah, oh good.
That's the one we want. No, it's green then red. So there's the red over there. But if you see that on 1 mile, it's just down here on the left.
Hey, I can see the green this side now.
As you'll see later when I'm navigating in the RV, we scream around these turning points at full power and with a very steep angle of bank. Because Cliff is flying slow flight in the Pipistrel at its most economical cruise power setting, he's making very shallow turns.
Race 50 just completed TP2.
TP2, thank you.
With lap 1 nearly complete, halfway around the race, the power consumption seems to have stabilised somewhat.
So we've got 60%, just under. We could probably do it and then get back with our 10-minute reserve, but let's err on the side of caution.
Are you going to continue until you feel uncomfortable, or
no, we're just going to do this one
stick
lap.
with that? Okay.
Yeah, we get over the finish line and we'll do a right turn
Okay.
back to the airfield. Race 50's breaking off, heading back to the airfield.
Race 50, understood, thanks.
So while they think they could probably complete the race, it's not worth the risk. A lot of the time when the air racing is on, they close the host airfield. It's a bit different today. Had Goodwood been able to be sterile for the event, Cliff could have more confidence in getting back.
Goodwood information, race 50 inbound at Chichester Harbour.
Race 50, Roger. Do you want to go left base again, Cliff?
If it's emptying up in the circuit pattern, that'd be great, Tim.
Make it work for you, that's not a problem at all. Report left base for 32 right-hand circuit, the QFE 1010.
But the FISO team and other pilots in the circuit are doing their best to help, giving way to the Pipistrel so it can come straight in.
Just for your planning, there's an electric Velis positioning for a non-standard left base, so he's going to be a priority over you.
Some of the traffic will be number 2, drop down.
So the Pipistrel arrives back into Goodwood safely, and although they haven't finished the race, it's the first time an electric aircraft has competed since the race's inception in 1913. The Schneider Trophy is the perfect competition for the Velis to take part in. It was originally started so as to encourage technical advances in civil aviation, and this is probably one of the biggest advances in aviation since the jet engine perhaps. Well done, Cliff and Roger.
Congratulations on your first.
Oh, thank you, John. That was really good. It's such a nice day out there. Oh, if only we could have just carried on and on.
Next, I'll reveal how much battery power they actually landed with, and you'll find out how I did in the Schneider Trophy competition. But first, if you travel into Europe, and particularly the Schengen area, as I often do, you'll know that you used to have to file a flight plan to cross between EU Schengen countries, such as between France and Germany, for example. Well, lobbying from AOPA, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, has led to that requirement being generally removed for day VFR flights outside of controlled airspace. Some countries, such as Ireland, I think, and possibly Spain, require flight plans to be submitted, and that remains the case. But if you're touring much of the rest of Europe now and crisscrossing borders, things have become a little easier. This is an example of the work that AOPA does. It only exists to serve us because of its membership, and the more members, the more work like this it can do. And if you'd like to support AOPA UK and its work, you can use my special discount link for 25% off new 1- and 2-year memberships. The Pipistrel landed with 40% power remaining, and so they had a total endurance remaining of 27 minutes. The first lap took them 13 minutes and 15 seconds, and so adding on the minimum reserve time of 10 minutes, they could have just about got around a second time, but they only would have had a 3 to 4 minute contingency for go-arounds, holds or a circuit before landing, so completely understandable why they didn't push it this time. So from the slowest aircraft racing this weekend to one of the fastest, and you find me navigating in Jonathan Willis's RV6. We both took part in the Schneider Trophy race yesterday, and I noticed that Jonathan was very relaxed. He seems to be taking it a bit more seriously today, now that we're flying for the Schneider Trophy.
I can see you're in the zone.
Goodwood round, information Golf to India, Papa India.
Unlike yesterday. This one means a little more to you, doesn't it?
Well, not really as it's the one I don't want to win.
Is it?
Yeah, and the reason is the size of the trophy. It takes up a third of my sitting room. And also you have to pay for the picking it up from the current owner or keeper, which is about £100 in DHL charges. So
thanks so much.
if we could get second place, that would be optimum.
No, I want first.
Well, you can have the trophy then. You can pay for it.
Jonathan has won the Schneider twice, and despite what he says, I think he'd quite like to make it a hat-trick. I don't intend to share too much of this flight. There's only so much of whizzing around these laps at top speed that I'm sure you can remain interested in, to be honest.
I've still not got it.
Right, where that sailing boat is now,
yeah.
It's just coming past
Oh, the one with the spinnaker.
No, the one is to the left of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I raced with Jonathan last year, and it was a longer course with more turning points. This is a shorter race, and the turns around the points are really tight. In the worst case here at turning point 1, the angle we have to pass through is just shy of 160 degrees. And at about 180 knots, we're pulling more than 3.5 G. I'm clenching everything as advised, and I look quite silly.
Absolutely nothing to aim at on this.
No.
Like Cliff and Roger, we did find it quite difficult to locate the red buoy. We have to turn around that, and the boats and the water skiers in the water were confusing the picture.
But I can see 3 dots.
Alright, the further ones.
Yeah.
So I think you've got probably this one here's the green one, that was probably the red one there.
So we're on course, aren't we?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, good. No, that's a boat.
No.
Yep, that's a boat. This one is the red one.
Jesus.
Oh, that was close.
As we bank into the turn there, you can just see the reddy orange buoy down there. Imagine trying to aim for that from 5 miles away.
Roll out. Now. Okay, we passed it.
Okay, good stuff. Race 2-3 returning to Goodwood.
Well done, that felt quite clean.
Yeah, it's pretty good. How did you feel with the G's in the turns?
Fine, I was a bit lower than yesterday actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, good.
Only 3G. I was still clenching everything.
Good. Race 2-3, final 3-2 visual with the Cessna.
Race 2-3, that Cessna's now in the go-around, so runway 32, land at your discretion, surface wind light and variable.
So, race over and time for the results and presentations. 11 aeroplanes competed. Ben and Sophie in another RV came first. Martin in his Robin was in second place.
Jonathan and John again.
And Jonathan and yours truly made it into third. My thanks to the Royal Aero Club Records Racing and Rallying Association for letting me join them. And if you fancy trying air racing, they have a free race school every year where you can try it out for yourself. Cliff and Roger didn't win an award this time, but they're hoping to try again next year.
Well, at the Royal Aero Club, we're all about innovation and we're all about celebrating the future of GA. And so if we can be inclusive on every level, and obviously the electric aeroplanes are what everyone's talking about at the minute, and to have Cliff Hawkins bring his Velis down and to race is just wonderful, and we were just so happy to be able to include that in our race schedule, and it's just proved to be a wonderful thing, and hopefully he'll be back soon.